Okay, so what we're going to do today is I'm going to give you a quick introduction of who GovWin is, who we are, and what we do. I'll give you a brief description of all of the tools that y'all have access to with your federal advanced subscription. And then we're going to jump in and play around with some of those tools. Now, as if you all were kind of listening to Tom and I's conversation, as I was kind of saying, this is not the end all be all. So we do have another training coming up with the same kind of training we're going to have today. So if you have to leave early or if you want to join that one just to kind of listen in again, you're welcome to. But if you do have additional questions after today that you want answered, I'm happy to set up a one-on-one session with you, happy to set up a session with, a group of you. Again, my phone number and email's on the left-hand side of the page, so you're welcome to reach out to me. And it is included with your service. There's no additional fees, and you have unlimited hours of research capabilities and access to me. So, and as we go through the training today, if you all do have any questions, please shout them out. I want to make this training as beneficial as possible for everybody. So now is the time, if you have, using the service over the last few years, if you've had questions that have arisen that you just don't know the answer to, if you've tried to use GovWin and not been able to find something, now is the time to kind of ask those questions. So feel free to interrupt me as we're going through the training if those questions pop up. I'm happy to address questions throughout the training today. So GovWinIQ, we are a market intelligence service. We are a compilation of now 4 previous market intelligence services. Deltek initially acquired a company called Input way back in 2010. They acquired a company called FedSources in early 2011, married those 2 companies together and rolled out what we call GovWin or GovWinIQ as of November 2011. We acquired a 3rd company called Centurion in November of 2013 and a 4th company called Onvia in December of 2017. So the tools on the website that you have access to today are a combination of all 4 of those previous companies. Now you will have access to what we call our federal advanced subscription. So that includes everything in the first 3 columns here outside of this technology install base. So it starts with this opportunities tool. This is where we are actively tracking RFPs, pre-RFPs, anything being publicly solicited by the government, as well as Seaport Next Gen task orders. Our analysts for this tour are divided out by agency. Their job is to learn and understand how those agencies go to market, what they're in charge of, how they're structured, and to try to capture new opportunities before they hit a public website. So before they hit a sam.gov or an agency site, we want to already be tracking those projects in the system. So you're already ahead of the curve when something comes out publicly. Now we do that in 3 main ways. We do it by breaking apart the budgets when they're released, combing through those budget documents, pulling out line items we believe will get funding. We do it by sending our analysts out to agency conferences, listening to those agencies' long-term goals and plans. And we do it by tracking recompete opportunities. So anytime we are tracking something in the website and it is awarded, and we know, you know what, 2-3 years down the road, the government is still going to need access to these goods, services, products, etc. Then we're going to build a whole new opportunity record and start to track it all over again. We will maintain that record while the current contract is in place, and then we will be on the lookout for any kind of recompete movement. So with the opportunities tool, I want to show you how you can run keyword searches to find new opportunities, how you can track the individual opportunity records so that if we make an update to one of those, you would get that in an email, and how you can create some broad keyword searches so that if we add something new, it's sent to you and you don't have to worry about being reactive. It allows you to be proactive. The contracts tool, this is going to be all FPDS data. FPDS stands for the Federal Procurement Data System. And that is the website where when the government awards a contract, they're supposed to go and upload the contract spending information, who they awarded it to, for how much, for how long, under what NICS code, what PST code, etc. What we do is we sweep that website on a weekly basis, and we pull in over 80 fields that are supposed to be filled out, and we put into our tool. So if you're looking for any kind of historic spending by agency, by company, by NICS code, by place of performance, this is the tool that you want to use. Your government contacts, these are going to be all your government people, CIOs, CTOs, directorate level people, program managers, contracting officers. You can run a first name, last name search. You can run a search by job title or job description, by an agency or sub-agency to pull the person or the people that you're looking for. Your agency profiles, you have 200 full agency profiles in here. It is a good summary of the agencies and sub-agencies. You're going to get an overview who an agency is, how large they are, when they were created, high-level organization chart. You're going to get a high-level budget breakdown. We do break apart the IT budget specifically because the government does. And then you're going to see the number of civilian employees an agency has, and you can slice and dice that information in multiple ways. And you can see spending data. So you can see historically what companies are winning the most business in these agencies and sub-agencies, how they're winning that business, under what NICS codes and PST codes, what contract vehicles an agency is buying off of. And you can slice and dice that by type of spending, by set aside, by place of performance. And we have that spending data for over 30,000 additional sub-agencies, offices, directorates, and commands that we may not have a full profile on. The company profiles, any company registered in SAM is going to be in here. SAM is the website where when the government wants to work with the company, when a company wants to work with the government, heavens, they have to go and register there. We sweep that site on a weekly basis, and we pull in all the new companies that have been added and all those companies who have updated their information. You can see general information on a company, how large they are, federal prime revenue. If a company is registered with any kind of set-asides, it'll be in here. It'll also have a little GovWin network member flag if the company is a client of ours. So you can see what companies are active clients of GovWin's. And then it has an objective view, and we pair a company's DUNS number with their FPDS data. So you can see historically what agencies a company is winning business in, under what NICS codes and PST codes a company is winning business under, what contract vehicles a company is winning business on, and you can see subcontractor information anytime it is being reported. Your organization charts, over 4,000 org charts at any given time. You can start at the headquarter level, get into the sub-agencies, offices, and directorates. And they are dynamic, so you can start at the top and weed your way down, or you can run a search for a specific organization chart. Your labor pricing, we have over 12 million labor rates in the tool at any given time. We pull our rates from 3 main places. Anytime we submit a FOIA request and we receive non-redacted rates back, we're going to put those in there. We also pull in all the GSA schedule rates and any contract vehicles publishing their rates. You can run a search by a job title or job description, by an agency or sub-agency, by a company to find the rates that you're looking for. And then you can narrow those rates down by security clearance, place of performance, education level. The rate data comes back in a pivot table type format. So you can get some nice summary results and play around with the summary results. And then you can always export that full rate data to Excel to manipulate yourself. If you cannot find the rates you're looking for, you can always request a custom rate analysis, and my colleague Bruce Thayer would be happy to put that together for you. Lastly, task order awards tool. This is where we're tracking over 5,000 contract vehicles now, and all of the award data. So you can see historically what companies are winning the most business on those contract vehicles and GSA schedules, what agencies are buying the most off of those, and you can track when the individual task orders are set to expire. Do I have any initial questions before we jump into this opportunities tool? Okay. So the opportunities tool, I'm sure most of you all are already familiar with this tool. This is the place if you're looking for current business for ML to pursue, if you're looking for existing business, this is the tool you want to use to find that. If you're in any sort of capture position, this is where you want to come first. There's 2 different search technologies on the tool. You have your keyword search here and your smart tag search. The keyword search is pretty straightforward. It is our legacy technology. You put a keyword in, you run your search, it searches every opportunity that has that keyword in it. This tool uses Boolean logic, so a couple things to note with that. If you wanted to put in a string of keywords, you want to put the word or between each keyword instead of, say, a comma. If you wanted to put in a couple different keywords to pull back in the same record, you want to put the word and. And then if it is a multiple word phrase like physical security, cybersecurity, access control, you want to put that in quotes to capture the phrase instead of the individual keywords. If you click the keyword search help here, it will give you every different way there is to run a search. I just went through some of those more popular ways. Our other search technology is our smart tags. It is our newer technology. And it's like keyword association. So we have over 4,000 smart tags in the tool, and it just allows you to do a slightly broader search instead of having to put in 5 or 6 keywords around a type of work. So if you put in, say, let me click in here, cybersecurity, you're going to see it's going to come back with cybersecurity services, software. If you put in cyber, it'll open that up even more. And you can see intelligence, surveillance, reconnaissance, and it will even cover things like aerospace around cyber. And you can select as many smart tags as you want. Every project gets tagged with at least one smart tag. When we add them to the website, normally they will be tagged with at least 3 to 4 smart tags. You can narrow your search down by department. We have all your departments listed here. Once you select specific departments, it'll pull up another box with all your sub-agencies listed. You can narrow it down by status. This is what phase each record is in. It starts with the forecast pre-RFP phase and goes all the way through the awarded phase. If you are looking for projects where the RFP has not been released yet, then you just want to look at the forecast and the pre-RFP phases only. Once it reaches post-RFP, that means the RFP is out, and it will be starting to move through that source selection, proposal submitted, awarded phases. These are Deltek terms, so if you have any questions on what the definitions mean, scroll over the teeny tiny question mark there next to status, and it will give you a full definition of each one of these terms. If you have the solicitation number, you can type it in here. Just take your dashes out, the system won't read the dashes. And then you can narrow it down by competition type of award here. If you wanted to run a search by Smart Fit score, this is a newer technology. It is our, we rolled it out, well, new-ish. We rolled it out last November. I'm not sure if anybody on the call has used this yet, but it's basically our first foray into machine learning. And we're basically ranking projects based on your company. And if you scroll over the question mark here, it'll give you the algorithm, kind of how we're doing that. We're using your contract awards. We're using smart tags that your company is marking to kind of, and other ways to kind of rank how projects fit for not only your company, but you can also look at what projects are coming up for your competitors as well. You can narrow your search down multiple other ways. The NICS code and the place of performance searches are going to be down here under additional filters. NICS code is going to be here. Type in a number or a keyword, it'll pull that NICS code up. And then the place of performance search is here. If you select United States, it will pull up another box with all your states listed. And then lastly, if you did want to put in some keywords at the top and say, I just want to see solicitations due to hit the street in the next 3 months, 6 months, you can do that down here at the bottom. Does somebody have a keyword you want to run a search on? You see that keyword, you know it's something that an MIL group or corporation does. Or we can run a smart tag search. And if you're trying to speak up, you're on mute.
Oh, come on, people. Let's go with, let's just go with C5ISR systems engineering.
Oh, my heavens. Okay, so C C5 ISR. And then I'm going to put and systems engineering. So it has to have both. Is C5 ISR? I've heard of that. What is that specifically?
It's a pretty common acronym.
Okay. So would you be looking for either one of those, or it has to have both of those?
Just take it down to systems engineering. That's fine.
Okay. Well, we could do or, and we can see what comes back. So I always promote starting broadly. Oh, heavens to Betsy. Put in a keyword and see what comes back. Clearly, we are tracking this type of work. Oh, somebody's microphone isn't working, but thank you. So 22,000, this is great. This tells me we are fully tracking this type of work. The first place I'm going to come is I'm going to use my filters here to narrow this down. Very quickly, we're going to narrow this down to the forecast and the pre-RFP. We are also going to narrow it down to the tracked opportunities. So we have a scrape tool that scrapes everything posted on SAM every day, all day. If I see a discrepancy, like 446 versus 94, I know that all 446 are fully tracked projects, that we're tracking these 94 projects as a fully tracked opportunity. Two reasons we would not track an opportunity on SAM as a fully tracked record is if it is being sole sourced, we do not track sole source projects, and the dollar threshold is $250,000. So if you're looking for those smaller dollar projects, you would want to look at SAM procurements too. So that narrowed it down to 446. Now what you can do is you can continue to filter this. So you can see systems engineering is actually a smart tag too. So that gives you an idea there. You can narrow it down by your agencies if you wanted to. You can narrow it down by competition type. You do always want to look at these undetermined as well though. By NICS codes, current incumbents, doing this work, however you wanted to continue to filter. Does somebody have an agency?
Go Navy.
Perfect. All right. So if you looked through this list of opportunities and you said, you know what, at least half of these projects are things that we would potentially be interested in. I know if Deltek adds any new C5 ISR projects or systems engineering projects to the website, I want to be alerted. Then what you want to do is you want to come up here to the top and you want to click Save Search. I always title my projects exactly how I ran them. So I'd put Navy, C5 ISR, or Systems Engineering, Forecast, Pre-RFP, schedule it to run daily, just new opportunities, and save it. And starting tomorrow, if we added any new projects to the website with that criteria, you're going to get that in an email. It'll be one email a day from Deltek. At the top of the email would be any individual opportunities that you were tracking that had been updated. At the bottom would be those keyword searches. Cannot express how important it is to come up with a good list of keywords and get those searches set up if you're in that capture position. Is there a project here that you're interested in taking a look at?
Yeah, the top two, we are, the top two.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Let's just take a look at this one because this one's actually an 80% smart fit score. So all of our opportunity records are going to be set up the same way. And forgive me if you all have heard this spiel. I'm sure that, you know, if you've been in one of my trainings, you've heard it already. But the opportunity name will be up here at the top. Opportunity ID number is just an internal tracking number we give. Buying information here. The source is going to show you, because I'm logged in under Tom's account, it's showing that this actually, he received this in a search on January 23rd when we added it to the website initially. The show match keywords is showing everywhere your keywords are popping in the record, which is nice. The snapshot is going to be all the general information on how the project's being solicited. You've got your most recent update by our analyst team, your key government contacts here. Oh, well, look at you all. And the current incumbent. So you can see that you all are the current incumbent. No wonder you are rated so highly on this. The timeline is going to be anytime our analyst has made an update to this record. Looks like it is very active. So you can get an idea of when we started to track this and everything that's gone on throughout that solicitation process. Now we are going to make an update anytime documents are released, anytime news, we can type to a news article, a budget document. If the RFP, pre-RFP comes out, if there's an industry day, or if we just talk to the government and they give us information, we will make an update. If you were tracking this in the system, you would get that update in an email.
Can you go ahead and mark that as a 5 for me? I'm not sure why that's not marked already.
There you go, Tom. Do a little work for you.
Thank you.
Yep. The description is going to be a summary of what's being requested. When you run your keyword searches, it searches all this information as well. Contracts. This is tied directly to FPDS. I'm sure that some of y'all are pretty familiar with this, but you're going to see kind of what the government has reported they have awarded to you fiscal year over fiscal year. You can break it out by agency if multiple agencies were buying off of this, by company, place of performance, etc. Your contacts. If you open up Amy's contact information here, you can get her phone number and email address. And then if you click on resources, you can see any other projects she's associated with as well. So for some contracting officers, you'll see a ton of projects listed here. So maybe you want to call and talk to them about multiple projects at the same time. If you wanted to put in notes about how great Amy is, or maybe Amy's a grumpy old lady that you say, hey, avoid Amy, talk to anybody else. The notes are proprietary to you, or you can share them with the rest of your company. You can also track her if she's a good point of contact, and you would be alerted anytime we made an update or anytime Amy was added as a point of contact for any new projects in the website. If we go back to our opportunity record, all of the documents are going to be uploaded here under documents or under resources. You can see when we began uploading the documents back in 2019 and everything that's gone on throughout that process. Looks like a lot of forecasts there. If you go to SAM, this is anything pulled directly from SAM. And then you can see we tracked this previous project when you all initially won it back in 2018. And you can get all of those previous documents as well tied to this. The vendors and teaming, any company that's a client of ours can actively advertise their interest. These companies are doing that, saying that they want to work on this project. If you all were looking for teaming partners, this is a place to come and find it. The other area, which is nice, is the SmartFit score. So this is showing other companies that are rating as potentially pursuing this as well. Just based on, you know, agencies that they work in, type of work that they win business in, things of that nature. And then the notes section, let me make sure. Yeah, the notes section, you can add your own personal notes about the project here, or you can share it with the rest of your company. If you wanted to track this, you can mark it here, just like I did for Tom. 1 through 5 priority system, no matter what you mark it as, you will get an email anytime we make an update to the record. You can see that it's going to show when he marked it. And if anybody else was tracking this, you could click the number and see who else was tracking it as well. You can organize your tracked opportunities by folders. So this is nice because if you know you're going to be tracking 20, 30 plus projects at a time, you can organize them by agency, by type of work, by the ones that you're an incumbent on and the projects that you're not. However you want to organize that, you can create as many of these folders as you want to. And then if you wanted to share this with anybody inside or outside your company, click the share button. This goes directly to the analyst who tracks this. They will try to get your question, or sorry, this would go over to the colleague that you sent it to, and they would get a link to log in and view the project. If you click sharing activity, this is going to show when you shared it, who you sent it to, and when they logged in and viewed it. Now, getting ahead of myself, if you click the request support button, this is where if you have questions on the project, you can put your questions in. This goes to our analyst team and they will try to get your questions answered. They'll get the answers over to me and I will get them over to you all. Do I have any questions on an opportunity record?
Yeah, with regards to analyst questions, what types of questions do your analysts typically handle, and how much engagement are they there for? What type of historical engagement has there been through the analyst, and what should we expect as a response?
Yeah, so a lot of times we see clients using us as a third party, because when we call the government, we will call in Deltek's name. So a lot of times if there's not been any movement on the project for a while, or as the solicitation date is coming up, we'll get a lot of, hey, Deltek, can you call the contracting office and find out, is the RFP still going to be due on, or is the RFP still going to be released on said date? Hey, I see that the government hasn't released anything for this yet, but the contract's coming up for expiration, in the next 6 months. What's going on with this project? Also, like if there's an industry day, we will actively seek out the industry day list and documents, but sometimes the government won't give them to us, or like they don't release them initially. So we'll get questions around that. And clients, they like to use us as that third party. Any kind of missing information that you don't see here, we always get questions on that. Not that we're not seeking it out anyway, because we are, but clients always like to ask us as well.
Perfect, thank you.
Yep. Any other questions? Okay. Any other questions around running searches? Did you all want to run a smart tag search, or did anybody want to run a smart fit score search? Since those are kind of two newer technologies. Or has anybody had any success using the smart tags or the smart fit score?
So I've seen a lot of, in a lot of the notifications I get, I see a lot of the smart fit scores embedded nowadays. So yeah, can you do a smart fit, some sort of a smart fit inquiry?
Yeah, so I'm just going to click 70% to 100%. With this, we are not going to rank your company if you receive a score of 40% or below. So when you look here, you can see that below 40%, you're not going to get a score. So just know that if you don't see a score next to projects, it's because it's under 40%. So if I just select that one, you can see 284 projects come up, and this isn't going to be perfect. We are still in the beta phase. We actively say that. So if you see a wonky project that pulls up and you say, I don't know why this showed up, like this has nothing to do with what we do, we're always soliciting feedback. Please give us some feedback on it. But you can see 91 projects came up around that forecast and pre-RFP. I like this because number one, I fully think that my clients are, on top of things with their accounts, but it is always nice to come in here and just check. And sometimes you may miss a project that you slip through the cracks and you see and you say, oh, well, that's interesting. Or maybe you see a project and you say, oh, that kind of piques my interest. I want to kind of learn more about that. Do some of these projects look like things that you all would kind of potentially pursue?
Certainly from a keyword perspective, I mean, all of those are probably, I'd have to compare I'd have to look into scope and look at the number, as it relates to the fit score. But yeah, I mean, those are all from a keyword perspective, certainly things that are in our wheelhouse.
Yeah. And what you can do is you can set this up just like you can, set it up as a search. So it'll push you any new opportunities we add to the website with those smart fit scores. So it just kind of, it's a different way of looking at the data. And I will say it has gotten better. when we rolled it out last year, I was very excited about it because it sounds really cool. Like, hey, it's going to rate your, it's going to help you do your work. So I kind of promoted it, and I would do, some trainings on it, and I got some iffy feedback on it. So I kind of pulled back on that. I was like, I'm going to let them kind of, we're continually tweaking it and working on it. And so I did some trainings and included it in the April, May timeframe, and I got some better feedback on it. So we are continuing to work on that. So just be aware, but I think
I think it's pretty cool technology, and I've had a little bit of fun kind of diving into what you think, what GovWin thinks is a smart fit for me. Kind of diving in to see why, and it's been interesting, and I think as it matures, it'll be a great tool.
Yeah. And what's neat too is you can look at what your other competitors are showing up as a smart fit score for them too. So that's another aspect of it, is you can look up those top competitors and you can see what's ranking for them. Everything that you're tracking is going to be out here on the homepage under quick links. So your My Inbox is going to be where your folders will be housed. It will also show your daily email in a live format. So obviously when you get that daily email, it's a static email. You have to actually click the link to log in and see the actual data behind the opportunity record. What this is it's a live version of that. So some of my clients really like this. They just kind of, instead of looking at their email every day, they just log into GovWin at some point. And this allows them to say, oh, I like this one. Let me go ahead and mark it. Let me move this one to a folder. It allows you to share it very easily. So you can click the button. You can say, oop, I need to share this one with somebody. And it just allows you to actively use the tool and use those projects. If you go back out to the home page, your keyword searches are going to be here under My Searches. You can have as many searches as you want. This is where, those are going to live and breathe. At any point, you can run them, edit them, rename them, delete them. If you're in a capture position and you want help setting searches up, happy to do it. The other thing you can do is you can look at My Company searches. If you know there are colleagues that have good searches set up, all you have to do is click Run here. You can see Ed's search here. And if you said, "Ooh, I love this search, but defense isn't my agency," maybe your agency is Homeland Security, then all you have to do is click Homeland Security, keep that strategic communications, save it, and you're not changing Ed's search, you're just using his search and not having to recreate the wheel, and you can save it for yourself. And then if you go to My Opportunities, this is your pipeline in GovWin. So this is where every project that you're tracking is going to be housed. And then if you come to My Company Opportunities, this is every project that anybody at your company is tracking. This isn't really useful or meaningful, I'm sure, to most of you. It's great to see that you're all using the site and tracking a lot of projects. If you want to make it a little more useful, you can come in here and go to Actions and Settings, filter My Company Opportunities, and then you can just select the colleagues that you directly work with. So if you said, you know what, I just work with Paul and with, oh no, Tarana, I'm sorry if you're on the call and I'm butchering your name, and Joe, click Apply Filters, it will just pull up their tracked opportunities, and then it's sticky, so you never have to go back in and redo it. Any questions with any of that? Lastly, My Sharing activity. This is where if you choose to share projects with other colleagues, this is where all of those will be located. Any questions with any tools we've covered thus far? All right. Does anybody have a direction you want to go before I jump into agency profiles and company profiles? Okay.
So,
Yeah.
you're probably, I guess I'm getting ahead of myself with those org charts, so I'll hold off.
Nope, that's fine. We can jump into org charts first. Totally fine. We have over 4,000 organization charts in the tool. You can see it's going to kind of give you a number of how many org charts we have under each department and agency. Do you have an agency you want to take a look at?
Yeah, let's go with the Navy.
All right. And
Naval Air Warfare Center Aircraft Division.
oh my goodness, I don't know if I've ever looked at that. And you can get down, it looks like you can also look at the safety department. So
looks, well, go Nav Air Sys Command first. The one above that.
oh, the one above that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Both haven't changed yet.
Go to Air 40.
Air 40. Okay.
Knock is below.
So if you click on Air 40, this is going to be the point of contact within that. If you go to show parent company, it's going to jump you up to Naval Air
Right.
Systems Command.
Will it let you go deeper?
I don't think it will on that organization.
Gotcha. Okay.
Yeah. So you can see Naval Air Systems Command. These are the 3 points of contacts. And then this is also saying we have 8 offices under Naval Air. So you can see how many points of contact and
So if you
offices.
Go
Yeah.
to the left. So there's the Naval Air Warfare Aircraft Division. If you click on that, will it go deeper?
Yeah, yeah, it looks like it has the Training Systems Division and Naval Test Wing Atlantic.
Okay. So I guess my question here is if there's a specific org chart, is that something we can come to you? You know, if we can't find that, would that be a good example of what we could come to you, one of your analysts for?
Yeah, so with our org charts, we aren't really actively building out organization charts. If we can find the data, we will do it. But there's a fine, if it's not readily available somewhere, it's a little hard for us to, get that organization chart.
Gotcha.
But we're happy if you say, we know that under the Naval Test Wing Atlantic, there's an office that we want to, see who the points of contact are. We're happy to go and look for you. That would go to that organization chart team.
Okay.
And if again, worst case, they're going to come back and say, hey, we aren't able to find anything on that office. We can find you some points of contact, but we don't know how they're organized.
Gotcha.
So we are adding org charts, as you can see. When I started, we had like 100 org charts. So we've really grown from there. But yeah, unfortunately, we just don't have every single office within
No, that's
every.
cool.
Yeah.
No, I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah. You can always print these to PDF. And when you do that, it will actually give you a date. These normally get updated on a yearly basis. But you can see exactly when you do that, it'll show you the modification date. So you can see org chart verified. We verified it in April, and then we last modified it, meaning we made some sort of change to it in September. So that's nice. What we will also get is if you know a point of contact is no longer with an organization, you can always submit a request for us to find the new point of contact. Or if you know that an organization has shaken up and it's no longer called something, or it's wrapped up into something else, you can always, let us know that as well. Any other questions on org charts? Let's jump into the agency profiles. I don't know who's asking about the Navy. I appreciate it, but do you want to continue with the Navy, or does somebody else want to give me an agency?
Let's stay with the Navy.
All right, sounds like the Navy it is. Do you have a sub-agency, an office, a command you want me to look at? Naval Air Systems Command.
The 5-0.
Yeah, sure. So this is going to be a spending profile. Oh, okay, never mind. Why is that listed there if nothing's coming up?
You know, Sarah, those codes haven't been updated, and they went through the change.
Oh,
There any plan to update those?
I would think
codes?
so. Let me ask. So they don't have that name anymore? Is that what you're saying?
That's correct. Like initially, when you were going through the organization, you look at the systems engineering or research and engineering 4.0, that it doesn't call that anymore. It's a different names. I was just wondering if
I would think that we are going
organization
to.
would provide you that information for org charts of.
So under Naval Air Systems Command, are they, again, forgive me because I'm not on top of how the Navy is organized these days, but are these all looking accurate? Org chart.
Yeah, these are right. These are correct.
Okay.
Just the coding seems like still in old kind of a codes, not the new organization.
Happy to submit that as a research request. I would assume that we are going to be making those updates, and I don't know why they wouldn't have already been made. Is there a division here or operations? Maybe commander.
Naval Air Warfare Center.
Oh, where did you see that? Right here?
Right there. Yeah.
Perfect. I'm going to close this one out. I open like 15 windows when I'm doing trainings. So this is going to be a spending profile. It looks like there is an org chart associated with this. So you can click that and pull up the org chart. This is going to show you what the spending is fiscal year over fiscal year. You can see the type of spending they are doing. Those are just NICS codes grouped together, and those top companies winning business within this office. If we go back up, or this division, if you click on spending, this is going to be 2021 summary information. Since it is the last fully reported fiscal year, we do wait until normally January to update these to 2022 data, just because we know there's still spending being reported for 2022. So just be aware that we will be making updates to those. You can see what companies won the most business in 2021 here. You can see socioeconomic status, place of performance, contract vehicles that this division purchased off of. And then if you wanted to make this a little more meaningful, you can go to the contractors tab here. And you can say, I just want to see the IT projects or companies that are winning work. You can just hold down that control button and say just for 2021 and 2022 only. You can also do by socioeconomic status. So if a project comes out and maybe it's an 8A set aside and you need to find an 8A teaming partner, you can select that and it'll pull those 8A companies up. And then if you wanted to combine some of this, you can go to all contractor spending. And it allows you to combine some of these tabs together and pull that information up. And you can do this for any spending profile that we have. This data is FPDS data. It gets updated on a weekly basis. So if you do, oh, go ahead.
I see the by OTA category. Do you track, I know that's spending data, but do you track opportunity data for OTAs?
We do, yes.
Okay.
Did I have another question too?
Yes, Sarah. For the spending data by socioeconomic category, is that just dollars awarded to companies with that socioeconomic status, or are those dollars awarded under set-asides?
So it would be the socioeconomic stat. It would be the company would have that socioeconomic status.
Is there a way we can find out how much was awarded under set-asides?
So I believe that that is in the summary here. Right here, like that. Is that what you're?
Okay, so this is this section is dollars spent by set aside and not based on awarded dollars to a company with a socioeconomic status.
So if you wanted to look by company, you would have to look in that company profile. Is that what you're asking?
I guess, I guess I'm just making a distinction between dollars awarded under a solicitation with a set aside versus dollars awarded to a company with that status.
Right. Let me see if we go up here. So you can see their small business contracting. Would that be what it's more of what you're asking?
Yeah, I think so.
Okay, so we did not have that for that the division we were just looking at, but I bounced up to the Naval Air Systems Command as a whole, and we do have that small business contracting report card here.
Okay, thank you.
Yep. And we will have it obviously for the Navy as well. When it is being released, that report card, you will see it in the, over here on the right-hand side, or right-hand side of the page of the account planner. I bumped up to the Navy as a whole. For the civilian agencies and the DoD, you will see budget dollars. You'll see the budget tab in all of those sub-agencies and things. For the Navy, Army, and Air Force, as those people who work on those departments know, all of the budget gets reported at the headquarter level. So your budget tab is going to be at the headquarter level. If you open that up, you're going to get summary information here, just how much they're allocating or requesting, funding highlights and things. But then you can actually click through. So if you wanted to see IT dollars that they've requested, click on total IT request, and it will give you that listing there of all the projects that they've requested funding for or additional funding. This is also the place, if you want to track the agency, this is where you want to track it. This is where, if you're interested in industry days that the Navy's having, you want to mark it, any kind of organization chart updates that we make, any articles that we pull in. We create a newsletter every day where we sweep websites that are posting articles around the federal and state and local market. So you can track that here. This is where you want to go and do that. Let me unmark that for you. And then you can see two of your other colleagues are tracking it as well. Any other questions on agency profiles? We have about 9 minutes. Would y'all prefer to spend that in the companies looking at competitor information or teaming partners, or go maybe over to the task order awards and look at how to track contract vehicle award dollars?
Companies.
All right. Do y'all have a competitor or a teaming partner you want to look at?
Let's look at MAG. MAG.
Defense?
It's Momentum Aerospace Group or Aviation Group.
Oh.
But MAG is the acronym.
I think they go by MAG Aerospace.
I think it's MAG Aerospace. Yeah.
Go.
They acquired a couple. When I used to manage smaller companies, they acquired 2 of my companies back in the day. Oh, is it Mag Aerospace Canada? It's interesting. So this is the company that came up. It's got to be under something else because this looks like this isn't coming up with a lot. Yeah, it's got to, what does MAG stand for?
I think it was Momentum Aviation Group. Does that sound right, Tom?
Did I spell
I
momentum?
only know them by MAG, so.
Momentum Aviation Systems. Here's the thing is it does have to be in the system exactly how, let's sort it by dollars, exactly how it is in, oh, there we go, MAG Defense Services. It is in SAM because that's how we pull it. Yeah, is this what you were looking for? Out of Fairfax?
Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yep. Not surprising they're not a client right now. So you can get company information here. We do pull in those new UEI IDs that the government is now, kind of moving to, not doing the DUNS numbers anymore. You can see the number of employees, revenue, federal revenue, all the links to their websites. If we click on top ops SmartFit score, you can get a list of those here. See kind of where their opportunities are rating. If they were in any recent news articles we pulled in, you would see that here. GSA schedules. If you clicked on the GSA schedule, it would actually take you out of GovWin and over to that schedule. If you click on contacts, they are not an active client. If they were, you would see a little tab here called GovWin Network Members. You are getting their registration contacts. And it looks like we do not have any program managers for them. The federal business is that objective view. So it is going to show you what their federal prime revenue looks like. Fiscal year over fiscal year. Obviously 2023 just starting to trickle in. If you click by customer, this is going to show every agency that they currently or have previously had a contract with. If you said, I just want to see 2021 and 22, it'll change this data up a bit. You can break this out by NICS code, PSD code, what contract vehicles they are winning business on. If you click on task order programs here, if you wanted to say, see, hey, are they winning any Navy work? You can do that maybe just for 2022. And then you can get subcontractor information. This is who MAG Defense, so MAG Defense Services is who they are reporting as a subcontractor to them. So you can get a listing of all those companies there and what contracts they have reported them as working with them on. And then you can click work as a sub and you can see who has reported MAG Defense as a subcontractor. If you wanted to track them, you can mark them here and you would be notified anytime they advertise interest on projects, if they become a client again, if they win new contracts that are reported awarded to FPDS, labor pricing, articles. You can see all the different ways that you can track the company.
So right there,
yeah,
it says they were a sub to Smartronix. If you scroll down, does it say what vehicle
it will.
that was under?
Yep, right there, Oasis.
Cool, thank you.
Yeah. And you can download this to Excel. You can export it right here. Obviously, it's not the easiest to like scroll through here and see. So if you did want to just download, export these, you can. And then if you did want a listing of all of their contracts, click right here All of a sudden I have a frog in my throat. Excuse me. And this actually takes you out of that agency and over to the contract search. It will give you a listing of all of their contracts. And then if you click active, these are all of their contracts that are still active. You can see some of these don't have an end date to them. I always like to do maybe current contract expiration, and that'll pull those top ones up to the top here. Any questions with any of this? And if you like this search, any searches that you run, save them so you don't have to come in and recreate the wheel. At any point, you can delete them. Any other questions? Anything else I can help y'all with today? The other areas I will point you to is the upcoming events. We are still hosting webinars. We have our Project Con coming up. If anybody wants to travel out to Nashville, I hear it's going to be a really nice time coming up in a couple weeks. All of those upcoming events are going to be listed here. And then if you click Browse Reports, this is where all of those reports that you see that I send you, I'm actually not sending them, our marketing team does, but this is where they live. So if you go to Filter, you can narrow this down to just Market Reports, Presentations, Webinars, Apply. As long as it doesn't have a cost, it is free to you to download and take a look at. And if you have questions around a report as you're going through it, ping me and I'm happy to check with the analyst team that put it together and get your questions addressed. I'm at 4 o'clock. My time is up. Does anybody have any last minute thoughts, questions, anything else?